Yo, what is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another video of Phazo's Thoughts. Now, listen, I know, put the pitchforks down, put the guns down, you know what I'm saying? Put your steel chairs down too, man. I know it's been a while since I've been up here. It's been a while. Shout outs to the notification squad if this is how you're tapping on this video. I didn't forget about you guys. It's just the end of the school year or, the semester, you know what I'm saying? I'm supposed to be graduating this upcoming May. You know what I'm saying? I got to make sure I'm locked in. I had to make sure I had everything intact. But listen, man, we're back better than ever. And it's at quite the due time, man, because about 3 hours ago, I read this report that the Bloodline Rules match on the January 6th Monday Night Raw, that's going to be, the debut of Netflix. They keep ramming that date in our head, by the way, like we don't know. Like January 6th isn't as infamous as it is already. But yeah, the head of the table match, essentially. I mean, it's not the head of the table match, but it's for who's going to be the tribal chief. That match is going to be the main event of the first Raw on Netflix. And, for a feud like this, when it comes to Punk and Rollins, like, they have been feuding for 10 years. Now, obviously, it wasn't brought on screen. For what it's worth, no one really knew all the intricate details until last year at the Royal Rumble when, Rollins had said, oh, we don't want him here. We don't need him here. He pretty much just blew him off. And this was before any talks of Punk joining back WWE was a thing, right? Like, that was like a huge thing because it was like, whoa, like this guy really does not like CM Punk. Like, there was no rumors that Punk was coming back. Obviously, when they go to Chicago, everyone chants CM Punk. But, at that time, it was just a long it was a long shot of a dream that we were hoping to get, which we obviously ended up getting this past Survivor Series last year. However, now that they're in the they're in the WWE together. The first feud that they really teased was Punk and Rollins, and I was very happy about that, obviously, right? And the fact that we've been waiting this long for them to lock horns in the ring, man, is just very infuriating that this is not on the main event of the show. And first of all, it's bad enough that it's already happening on Monday Night Raw. Granted, like I said prior to, I understand that this is a big show. This is not, just your ordinary run-of-the-mill Monday Night Raw in January. This isn't the day one pay-per-view that they had a few years ago from back-to-back years. Like, this is real. Like, Raw's going to Netflix. They're making this their WrestleMania, right? We got a few matches that I will be making videos on, like the Rhea versus Liv Morgan match for the Women's World Title. And obviously, like I stated previously, the Bloodline Rules match between Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. Now, to get back to this match, right? This past Monday, I don't know if you guys seen it. The hatred is real. These motherfuckers hate each other, right? It's wonderful. I love the hatred that we've seen in the ring this year. So you had Punk and Rollins there fighting through the crowd, clamoring to get to one another so that they can get their hands on each other, let them know what's really good, right? And that's all fine and all, but I somewhat had a suspicion that this match might end up being on Netflix anyway. The reason why I felt like that is because usually when it comes to a feud that you're trying to brew, maybe they pass each other, backstage, or maybe Punk's match is over and Seth Rollins' match is up next, or maybe he has a promo coming up, they pass each other on the ramp the way that they did Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes last year before Mania, right? So, usually that's something that you would see, but the only difference here is that these guys started to get their hands on each other a lot sooner than I thought they would. Now, obviously, Punk hit the go to sleep on Seth Rollins at SummerSlam in the special guest referee match. But, I mean, that was just due to happen. I don't think anyone was surprised when he hit the GTS. It was like a surprising moment, but I don't think anyone was like, oh, like, I didn't think that that's something that they would do. Like, I mean, if anything, it just made more sense that it was going to happen there than any other time, because it would have been like, okay, we know you guys don't like each other. Like, can we get something, right? Fans are never pleased. So that happened. I wasn't really surprised. But once they started having that fist battle a few weeks ago on Raw, where Punk literally missed Rollins on the first jab that he tried to take at him, I was like, oh shit. Like, so here's the thing with that, right? I was like, okay, they had a scuffle, right? It's a long ways away until April 20th and April 19th and April 20th, right? I'm like, okay, I don't think them getting their hands on each other right now is so bad, right? I'm like, okay, that's fine. But this past Monday, like I said, they're running through the crowd trying to get to each other. I was like, oh, this match is definitely happening sooner than later. And the craziest part about it is they had this report about like 2 weeks ago that this match might be main eventing the show. And because at the time we didn't know that we were going to have Roman versus Solo for the Ulafala, who's going to be the tribal chief. Like, we did not have that as a suspicion yet. So, looking at the show for what it was at least 2 weeks ago, we were like, okay, they're going all out on the show. You're going to have Cena on the show. You're going to have Travis Scott. He's going to do a performance. Pretty sure you're going to have him come out with Jey Uso, since Jey always brings out the rappers. But, I'm like, they're putting all their eggs into this show. And I was like, this would make sense to be the big match. Now, obviously, you're going to have Cody on the show, too. Like I said, you're going to have Cena. He's going to start his farewell tour. Don't know if that leads to an impromptu match or not. But these guys deserve the main event, man. And I would assume that they're going to have a series of matches. That's not an issue. I don't know if the second match would be at WrestleMania, or the second match might be at... Hell, maybe the second match is at the Royal Rumble, since that would be almost a full month afterwards. I would assume someone has to get the world title. Maybe not. I don't know. This is just a very odd situation to me, that you have these two massive egos. They genuinely don't like each other. Obviously, like, Punk's already been on record talking about how he doesn't like Rollins. Rollins mentioned him last year at the Royal Rumble event, right? So, I mean, like, we knew that these guys didn't like each other way before Punk even made his return to WWE, but I just find it very odd that these guys are not main eventing the show due to what's surrounding them, right? Obviously, if you're going to have the final boss show up at the show, I get why you want that to be at the end of the show. But if Rock's not going to face Roman until WrestleMania, or they're potentially going to have Rock face Cody, it just doesn't really make sense on why. It's pretty obvious where they're going with this, is I guess what I'm trying to say. But, obvious isn't always a bad thing. It's just that the way that this has been executed, I don't know when the second and third match comes between Rollins and Punk. Now, usually, Triple H is known for being able to book only 4 months out of the year, which is a joke, honestly, but I know why people are saying that. But it's just like, if this match takes place on Raw, does the match end clean? That's my biggest question when it comes to this match, right? Like, maybe that's why this is going to be the opener, because they're not going to have a clear winner. And even if it's not, if you don't have a clear winner, then what happens in the match, right? Like, I highly doubt you're going to have Drew McIntyre, Claymore, CM Punk. We've seen that they already burnt the bridge. They had their Hell in a Cell match. That was their Avengers Endgame, right? Like, that was it. Would it make sense for Drew to Claymore Seth Rollins, even though he had pretty much like extended his hand out to Seth Rollins this past Monday, trying to like get him to join him, like they have a common cause or whatever? But I mean, I just don't see that happening either. So, if I had to guess who's going to go over clean, I would say it would be, I don't know, it would have to be CM Punk, right? Because Rollins is going to turn heel at some point, and I'm really intrigued and waiting for that. I would assume he might have a different theme song as well when that decides to happen. But it's like, what's in it for CM Punk if he beats Seth Rollins on the first night? Like, he already said he doesn't care about him. He doesn't have the World Heavyweight Championship, so he's not even a priority for CM Punk. But now, if Rollins finds a way to get in the middle of what it is that he's trying to achieve in terms of a world title, then maybe that's where you get your, additional match, like the second match happening at WrestleMania or something like that. But, guys, let me know if I'm wilding. Let me know you guys' thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you for sticking along. We got the videos coming out, man. Like, comment, subscribe. It's your boy Faisal, the Great One, and I'm out, bruh.